CS of Fiesta here on Morning Prime. We continue first with the conversation, and this is all about what is ongoing with Occupy Everywhere. That is the latest hashtag from the protest that resumes today, where we have a 10 million strong young people coming out in force today, as they've been putting it on social media. They will be everywhere in the country, right? Putting the government on the day, on the spot regarding a raft of issues, and demanding that actions be taken. In fact, they're saying that they don't want any negotiations or talks with the president. They want action. And those are the latest so far. As you can see, it also, Victor has picked up the abduction saga that is ongoing. As you saw it, the ABD, all the abductions, as you can read it there, when you go to the optometrist, right, to see if your eyes are aligned. So are they seeing abductions or they are seeing arrests? That's the probing questions. Or question is, and you can see the reaction of the president there. And also the church is on the spot right now trying to save face, saying that the president should hearken to the cry of the Gen Z. All right, is it a little coming in too late as well? Praise God on one side and praise government on the other side. Is politics. Is it politics in church or church in politics? And also, the church is saying the president should ban Harambe. I think that's laughable because if you ask me, that should not even be the call of the president in the first place. Dr. Nyikao, are you a church elder? I know Okongo Mogeni is a church elder.
I'm not a church elder.
Yeah? But what do you think about that particular call by the church elders? You know, they were in the State House, was it on Thursday? Right? On a round table. And they were calling on and they were saying the president should ban Harambes.
You know,
why should they ban Harambes, and yet they're the people who invite these politicians in their churches? They should ban it from their own churches.
Let me say a very simple thing about that. I also heard they were saying the politicians should not talk in church and so on. But they say the politicians should not talk in church, but then they invite them to Harambes, and now they are saying ban Harambes. You cannot condemn what you are doing and say these things should be stopped. You have the power to stop it by saying we do not accept Harambes in church. The president doesn't have to come. So the ball, as you're saying, if the church feels that Harambes are a problem, which I do because of in my mind, it's perhaps a way of laundering money. I've always wondered, maybe because I've not held a lot of money, why if you are going to take a certain amount of money, a large amount of money, why you are carrying it in cash? You can actually make a transfer or you can send a check. It is a much easier way to do it. Well, if it is to impress the congregants in church, it looks untidy, and you start wondering where this.
But it's all about the optics that you really want to show that you have the word of cash.
Yes, that is it.
As opposed to
why you are doing that. But then you look at with the background to that, we have actually a law or a regulation that says that you cannot withdraw a certain amount of money. I think over 1 million, or even bank over 1 million. Without giving a clear instruction on what you are going to do with it. So I've been always wondering, when these people carry so much money, have we gone to their banks and really found out the bank from which they withdrew this money, and now they're carrying it like that? Did they actually set clearly where or did it really come from a bank? How does this money move? Oh, that's one issue. The other issue, the church itself saying the president should ban Harambes. They would take the lead by saying, as churches, because of the prevailing circumstance, the way money has been used, the way people are saying, we are using the church also to show some opulence. Yeah, we're going with this money. And if the church feels uncomfortable, the church just says, we do not accept Harambes, period. Then you can call on the president to do it in other places. But within your own jurisdiction, they can start by taking that. From now on, we are not, as a church, we are not going to take Harambes. But that's a very broad issue. They actually know the kind of people who do the Harambes that actually raise eyebrows. They would say, this is how we do our Harambes.
Thank you.
So that is that. But I want to go back to the issue that, although we have just mentioned, is really critical, and Honorable Morgan raised very many issues. How we passed in Parliament that Kenya Defence Forces can be used. It has come to my attention from him that actually they can't get this in the Hansard. That is a very, very serious issue, because the Hansard is the official report. I've not checked, and if he has checked and they can't find the records in the Hansard, it's terrible. But I was aware that.
But Honorable Congo Morgan, have you checked lately? Maybe it's been uploaded since you
last time. If it has been uploaded.
That's what I'm saying. Can you check just from your phone? I mean, it's pretty much easier so that we don't speak at
there was no live broadcast, and I think it is that live broadcast is also.
But we are given an excuse that yes, you know, since there were attacks, on the President of Parliament, also the media center was affected.
But he's
so we could not actually have.
He's telling us in the Senate, they seem to have had that. So. We have to go into all. I think there should be a very serious inquiry into what really happened on that day, not just within Parliament, even outside.
So the move of the motion is not known.
No, it was moved by the lead. The move of the motion was by the leader of majority. Majority, Honorable Ichungwa. Is the second that I can't quickly recall, because there was literally.
But he says that has not been captured on the Hansard.
That is why I'm concerned, because I was under the assumption that at least the Hansard was intact and taking in the records as it normally does. Because these things are saying are actually procedurally very important. As lawyers, they'll tell you that the whole process, even if it was passed, may actually now be null and void. If this process, the court may have decided as it's decided, but if we go back and find these details, when we can have a look at it. You feel there was even one issue. I think on Tuesday, when they actually brought out the army in the afternoon, there was also a gazette notice by the Cabinet Secretary in Defense, Aden Duale, and the gazette notice was under Article 241(3)(b), which says in a disaster or an emergency, they can deploy and then report to Parliament. But now, in the morning, when they were now making this request, they are now doing it 241(3)(c), which means they're actually doubting, in my mind, I'm not a lawyer, my mind, they're probably doubting what they did the previous day under 241(3)(b), and the following day they were doing it under 241(3)(c). And I think I saw an argument, there was an argument that the definition of emergency in 241(3)(b), and there's the emergency, the definition of the same in 3C would be different. So these are the issues that needed to be actually discussed in the National Assembly, so that all members would put in their considerations. What was the hurry to do this? They had used 241(3)(b) the previous day. They could use it even on this day. And now why do they? And then the one thing that was raised by the few people, I think the leader of minority, who said, but even if you are doing it, my colleagues, the lawyers are here, you must say where you are going to deploy them, for how long you are going to deploy them, and for what reason you are going to deploy them. The BAL, history is full of situations where the military was brought from the barrack into the streets and they never went back. So you don't want a situation where you are doing it in circumstances that are not clear.
All right.
So the details were not there, the process are not there, the articles used on the day before.
Thank you, Dr. Dr. Jikal. I want us just to look at this particular issue as well, because it's been in the public domain and everyone is giving every opinion every which way. And I can see we have it today in the Standard as well on page 7, where it's all about Wetangula saying finance bill cannot become law by lapse of time. The Speaker said Article 115, we have Okongo Mogin, now you have the Constitution. 115 of the Constitution empowers the President to refer back a bill to Parliament. We have Otiende Molo also saying, however, neither the President nor Parliament can withdraw a bill that has already passed the third reading. And if you read the entire article, it says, lastly here on the last paragraph, that it is not unusual, if you can refer back to that particular article. Are you there?
Which one?
It's there on the screen there. Yeah. It says it is not unusual for the President to refer a bill back to the House with reservations recommending its rejection through deletion of all its clauses. The National Assembly has previously received and considered President reservations recommending the deletion of all clauses in bill during 11th and 12th Parliaments. And maybe we can hear from Dan Mazo, if your memory could serve you well. Yes. Did we have such deletions during that particular time? I bet you were in the National Assembly.
Well, first, just before I come to that, I wanted to shed some light on what Honorable Nika was saying, that the Law Society went to court over this matter of deployment of military, and the court confirmed that the government had not complied with the law and gave them 2 days to comply. Unfortunately, up to now, they have not. And what has happened is now the Law Society has moved to the Court of Appeal. So now that that particular matter of the military on the streets is in the Court of Appeal. But what I would like to stay so that I can come to the issue at hand is that, you know, when you deploy the military, according to the Constitution, the matter before us is also political. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest challenges is that this matter of Gen Z is involving everybody, including the children of the military, the children of police, yes, the children of the politicians. In fact, I remember President Ruto say that the Gen Z are also in his house. And therefore, the people can defeat the army because the army are the people. The role of the army is to protect the nation. And therefore, at the end of the day, they protect the nation, meaning they protect the people. And in fact, that particular application of the law, when you look at the equipment and technology and the situation as it is, when you have a million people coming to Parliament, when you have a million people going to State House, will you kill all of them? Will you have bullets for 52 million people? And therefore, I think this matter has to be sorted out elsewhere without necessarily deploy the army and deploy the police. This is a political matter which must be sorted out politically. And the options have been given to the youth, that one of the options is to make major changes. First of all, comply with all the demands, probably redo the cabinet, change the House leaderships, and they have also said the president should resign. So all these matters are on the table. But going back to the finance bill and Article 115 of the Constitution, the moment a bill has gone through third reading and has gone to assent, if the president refers the bill back, and that was done many times in my 10 years in the National Assembly, when the bill is referred back to the House, in this case, it's supposed to be deleted clause by clause. What the president has done, first of all, is to throw the members of Parliament under the bus. It is a situation whereby you are asking somebody who has vomited to take back the vomit. That is what the president has done. The members of National Assembly have vomited, and now the president is telling them, take back the vomit. And this is also a lesson to the National Assembly. When you pass a law, first of all, listen to the people. Public participation in this country has become a bluff. You do public participation. This bill left Treasury, as advised by international organizations who fund us. It leaves Treasury, it goes to Cabinet, comes to the House, goes to the people, comes back to the House, and goes back to State House. The way it was is left Treasury. That amounts into dictatorship. And that's why the input of the people are important. That's why the Generation Z are saying we can fundraise and pay World Bank and IMF. We can pay our debt other than getting directed as if we are no sovereignty as a country. And therefore, what happens when the president tells the National Assembly to come and delete all clauses?
It's never happened before, has it?
It has not happened before, but no. Well,
that's what I'm asking, because you come and delete maybe clauses which are very contentious, but now deleting all the clauses is never.
You can't delete all the clauses.
Yes.
What you need to do, and I think the president is misadvised in very many things. In fact, when he goes to public and talks, you find that he's misinformed. He doesn't have the full information. He doesn't have facts which are already with the people. What happens is that you do not delete clauses, you repeal a bill. So a member, one of the persons, and that's what I'm saying, Kimani Ichung'wah, the leader of majority, must take back his vomit. He is the one who should be moving the deletion of the clauses. And he's the one, what he should be doing is to move, is to repeal the bill. And that's why Honorable Tendo Molo has proposed to repeal. And that means the 2023 finance bill continues up to the time we'll have a finance bill where the people have been consulted, public participation has taken place. It is enacted with the consent of the people, and Parliament does its right thing. What we've been having is dictatorship to Parliament.
All right, so the issue of a 14-day period there, because we have also petitioners who have moved to the court to make sure that you are recalled back to the House as a matter of urgency. Will that now come to fruition or not? If there's no action in the National Assembly, there's no action on to this particular finance bill, it's been deleted, but we've not seen any sitting. Or we have the Speaker of the National Assembly who says there's no tearing rush. We have to wait until now the recess is over, and that will be the 26th of this month.
It can't happen like that. As much as the House needs a lot of repairs, and it cannot operate right now.
So the question is there any urgency or not?
There is urgency.
So you should be recalled.
The House should be recalled with immediate effect.
I was expecting that we would actually be recalled. Because in any case, remember we sat when we were actually, when we discussed this thing of deployment of the military force, it was after. So if we were able to sit and pass the adjournment, pass this thing of the defense forces, why are we not able to sit now?
What was the reason to adjourn, by the way?
Yeah.
Why did you adjourn?
In fact, the adjournment actually had been passed earlier because in the calendar, it was time to adjourn. In fact, what we did on the day after the fracas was basically extend the adjournment, which again was not discussed. Let me tell you the basic thing.
No, so you're following the calendar as it is, regardless of what is happening in the country.
In fact,
because you said this was slated
yes, I'm saying,
in your calendar. So you have to adjourn.
It is worse than you are saying.
Should have altered to
So are you?
It is worse you are saying. We are not following as it is, which we had passed before. We actually are now extending it. So that is what happened. And the basic thing I've said in this forum many times.
So whose discretion is it? Whose discretion is it?
There's something that, as we discussed here, and in the whole country as people are talking of National Assembly, there's a distinction that we are not making. And I've said this in this parliament, that the kind of the majority that the Kenya Kwanza side has is actually what has killed us. The number is so large that they have no desire to discuss anything. Remember when we took the vote, it was 104 against 200 and something. Now with that kind of number, their desire on their side is never to discuss anything. And here I must say, this required the speaker to actually see how to balance things. Because if he left it to the majority, will have their say, their way, and the minority have their say.
So that's what I'm asking you, is even if you have the majority in the House as well, is it the discretion of a speaker to recall also the members of Parliament from recess as it is?
What happened is simple. Please understand this. Because if you don't understand this, you will not know what is happening. That's why I said here, long before any of these things, that in my view, the Parliament as we are operating with such a huge majority is, in my view, non-functional. Because a member from the Kenya Kwanza side will have a motion to have something done, which is proper. But when they know that they will put it, and then they now ask that a question be put, let's vote. And then the speaker then asks,
that we understand, Horbonyikal, that we do understand. They have the numbers, they can prove you are overwhelmed, you as opposition at the end of the day.
Yes.
But we expect the speaker to be a neutral figure in the House, isn't it? And if the country is in such a crisis as today, even if you're overwhelmed by the numbers, where should be the speaker be? On the voice of Kenya Kwanza, or he should be an arbiter right now to use his discretion and recall Parliament for a crucial discussion of what is happening right now in the country?
It should be an arbiter.
It should be an arbiter. Why can't you call out the speaker as you're doing?
I really wish.
No. You as opposition, because I think this is your honors. That now you need to go have a press conference and call out the speaker. That you need, the National Assembly recalled because you have critical matters to discuss as far as the affairs of the country is concerned.
That you are right.
So you can't just be coming also to the show and you go to the constituency or just disappear into obscurity. You are hibernating. Them, they can't even come to the show, some of them or some of their legislators, and then you come and say, here, we are overwhelmed. We've had this.
Okay.
No, you've decried this for the longest time, even you, Honorable.
And if you
that's all you're overwhelmed, put the question for the longest time. Almost 2 years.
Yes.
We've been discussing.
Yes.
So we can't say that, you are sat on by the majority in the House.
And if you're saying of calling a press conference, as I'm saying, I think if you could see many times that we have actually walked out, called the press conference, actually called on the speaker.
No. We are not bearing, let history bear on us, on what you've done before. We need action now, even from you as the opposition.
Let's leave the opposition. Let me talk about me, Nikal. Let's start from there. I really wish we had the recording of what happened in the last city. Let me tell you what I did.
This is what we're saying.
Let me tell you what I did.
That is not helping us.
No.
We're in a crisis right now. You were in recess. No, but you're taking me back to history. What happened? We're on record. That one is not helping anyone. We're saying, you're saying the speaker is supposed to be.
I want to tell you what happened.
We cannot wait until the 22nd of this month.
I want to tell you what happened.
No, we cannot.
We can't.
Yeah.
National Assembly.
Yeah, National Assembly, you need to do something.
Let me answer that question quickly and then tell you what's happening. It is actually correct. The leader of minority can actually write to the speaker for the House to be called.
Of which he's not.
Yeah, so that has not happened. And what I can tell you, that is something that actually, I don't want to say it here, but that's something we will take with the leader of majority. Let me tell you, like I told you the other time.
So the opposition is also sleeping on the job, as it were, waiting for the 22nd to happen, as the speaker has put it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They should
up to now, it's not written. You should have it written in the first place.
Okay, that I will accept. That I will accept. But I want to tell you what has happened, even if you don't want. This session that you say was not recorded, if you now ask me as Nikal, what is the speaker doing? I actually rose from my place, and honorable members will tell you, I actually approached the speaker. Listen, I had how many of these sergeant at arms? 6. They literally held me.
How was the voting to adjourn? Was it unanimous?
The voting was aye, nay.
Okay.
And once I have had it, the speaker have said it. So on this particular session that actually was chaotic, this was it was chaotic. Members, I can remember, Honorable Oluwach was actually so incensed that he actually moved even to take the mace. And then I think it was again held by a number of sergeant at arms.
I think Article 115 is very clear that, and you know, the whole intention of the Constitution was that coming into force of a law is not subject to the President. And is not subject to the House. So once the bill has been passed as it is now, I really want to disagree with the Speaker Wetangula that upon lapse of 7 days, then it automatically becomes law. So whether it has been referred, if it has been referred back...
No, cannot become law. This is what he says.
He says it cannot become law, but I disagree with him.
You don't need to quote him.
I need to read the Constitution.
Finance bill cannot become law by lapse of time. This is what he says.
Yes, but the Constitution is say to the contrary. the Constitution is saying to the contrary.
Yeah.
It's very clear that the law, so long as, unless you repeal it, then it will eventually automatically become law. And especially now, when Parliament doesn't reconvene.
That's what I'm saying.
To deal with the
repealing,
reference.
yes.
Then it means this will become law. And therefore, the majority or minority can move the recalling of the House. That act needs to be seen to have been done. That
So
either the majority...
there need to be action on this particular
There needs to be
act.
action.
So all that we have is pronouncement from the president, and there's no attendant action towards that particular
Pronouncement.
reference from the president in the first place. So who is fooling whom?
We haven't
Who
had,
is fooling whom?
we haven't had a sitting to get a notice from this, but what we get from
Yeah,
the
that's
press,
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
but we get
what
from
is
the
happening
press-
here is we're biding our time, and then this time lapses, and then the actually the Finance Act itself becomes law.
becomes law.
That's how it stands, isn't
by
it?
the operation
And
of the Constitution.
the opposition itself, you are the legislators who should actually be calling out these things, right? Even Honorable Otendo Mola, at least is making some sentiments on it, but all of you are silent.
You remember?
So that's what I'm asking. With all the audacity and the temerity that is coming from the president and, saying that we've withdrawn this particular finance bill, is it that all these legislators who have also the intellectual provenance that you do are not seeing what is happening? Or maybe for us who are citizens and we are none the wiser as far as this constitution is concerned and the rigors of the finance bill and how it really goes, we don't understand. Also, you do not understand.
Let me agree with you on one thing, that actually it is on the part of now the opposition, the leader of majority, to push for the House to be called,
reconvene.
to be reconvened. In my thinking, that's something I felt would come by today.
But what
now,
what I'm surprised is that the speaker is making these sentiments. You have it in the dailies. You people are not
Which
really
are
picking it.
unconstitutional.
It has been also put on social media. People are really talking about this, that we are being fooled, and none of the legislators are actually picking up this.
Actually,
that is what is the most consternating thing that is happening
what you are saying,
with the legislators. Until we have to question and ask you, can we do it? And there is no even a single letter is being forwarded to the national.
What Honorable Tiende has said is actually something that we discussed. And to me, the issue that you are saying, let's agree on one point. I think it is upon us in the opposition to push if the speaker is not calling Parliament. Agreed. That agreed.
He says until the 26th there is no tearing rush according to the speaker.
I don't agree with the speaker on that. And I don't agree with him on many things because of the way he has actually handled Parliament before. I have actually gone to his office and told him I don't agree with this. Now, let's take that part. I take that you have said, that it is now upon the opposition to come and actually push for the calling Parliament back so that this can be discussed. The issue that you've been raising, our lawyers have raised here, and I want to put my point on it, although I'm not a lawyer. The Speaker is saying that in 11th Parliament and 12th Parliament, I've been in both parliaments. And if my memory serves me, I actually don't remember a case, I may be wrong.
That's what I was asking,
where the whole bill has been deleted, that the reservation of the president has been deleted all. For me, this is the first time I'm seeing that the president's reservation is delete everything. And I've been asking myself, if everything is deleted, what then needs to go back to the president? Because what the Constitution says...
Particular case with the finance bill that we had to delete all the clauses.
Maybe I'm not digitally up to date. It is, I've gone to Parliament of Kenya. I've looked for the Hansard of Wednesday. The Hansard for Senate is there. The Hansard for National Assembly is not there. When I dig further, it gives me the Hansard for the 26th of June for Zimbabwe, but not for the National Assembly of Kenya. So, unless I'm the one who does it now to...
And even this Hansard of the 12th and the 11th Parliament regarding deleting all clauses that the Speaker seems to be advancing here, right?
So I don't think that I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No, I don't.
I don't think, Nikal, and if I'm wrong, let somebody tell me, I don't think your deliberations of the 26th of June can be found anywhere.
I know they can't
The
become
country does not know what
Yes.
National Assembly did.
Yeah.
We don't even know whether you had a sitting. We don't know whether anything was deliberated. We don't know. But where I agree with Dibal is that you cannot allow the National Assembly to be on recess when we have such critical issues.
I've said.
I agree fully, Dibal, that we are being a disservice to the country. You know, we are creating anxiety among the Gen Zs because they are going to court even seeking interpretation. These are issues that demand, like yesterday, National Assembly should have reconvened yesterday, not even today, so that you give direction. You know, instead of people going to court to seek interpretation on Article 115, these are deliberations that can take place on the floor of the House.
That I agree with you.
And whether it will take the minority leader, whether it takes the majority leader, I don't think we can give excuses to Kenyans.
On our part,
Why the National Assembly?
It will be the minority leader.
Yes, the National Assembly cannot be out of session at this time in the history of this country.
No.
It cannot be forgiven because you know, even what we are deliberating is a matter that can only be dealt with by you on the floor.
Yeah.
The sooner you bring this matter to an end, the better. These Gen Zs are out there, they are saying we are being cheated, this thing will become law in the next 14 days. Why can't Parliament give direction? You know, because Dibal, there is an issue.
And but is the speaker misadvising?
Yeah, of course.
No, when you look at that, I get a bit worried. If we are not reading from the same script, is he misadvising the country?
Whether the speaker is a senior lawyer,
that's what I'm asking.
He may have his own way of interpreting the constitution. The word misadvising may be a very strong word on him, but you know, the speaker is an arbiter.
No,
the speaker is an arbiter. The members.
It's not a strong word.
The members.
You have been given 14 good days, and you have your constitution with you.
The point I'm making is this: already, a member of parliament has pointed to a lacuna in the constitution. You know, if you read Article 115. The word repealing, is it, how do you call this thing the president did?
Referring.
You know, referring says Parliament will amend. It doesn't talk of killing. The referral by the president is to kill the bill. Okay? If you read 115, it says the president will refer back for
within 14 days.
Yeah.
We'll just begin from within 14 days after receipt of a bill, the president shall A, assent to the bill, or B, refer the bill back to Parliament for reconsideration by Parliament, noting any reservations that the president has concerning the bill.
Go to 2.
If the president refers a bill back for reconsideration, Parliament may, following the appropriate procedures under this part, A, amend the bill in light of the president's reservations.
So amend means the bill is still alive?
Yes.
Or pass the bill a second time without amendment. If Parliament amends the bill fully, accommodating the president's reservations, the appropriate speaker shall resubmit it to the president for assent.
Having agreed.
Parliament, which is on recess, Parliament. This is now the Constitution is assuming that Parliament is in operation, not on recess.
Yes.
Parliament, after considering the present reservations, may pass the bill a second time without amendments or with amendments that do not fully accommodate the president's reservations by a vote supported by two-thirds of members of the National Assembly and two-thirds of the delegations in the Senate, if it is a bill that requires approval of the Senate. And we can read all the rest.
I agree with that without any doubt, and I've told you, and I'm repeating.
So in light of this, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, so now,
and we have a Senator Congo Mogini telling us misadvising is such a strong verbiage.
No, I can propose.
Is the speaker interpreting this differently?
These provisions of Article 115, the way I'm seeing it from where I'm sitting, is creating anxiety among this Gen Z generation and among Kenyans generally. The interpretation we are receiving is not unanimous. Honorable Tenda Molo has a different view. Some Kenyans have a different view. Others have even moved to court. So the point I'm making this morning, Debal, that with all this anxiety around the interpretation of Article 115, it's not right for National Assembly to be
On
recess. It's not right.
Agreed.
They need to reconvene. You see, the word used in 115 is that the bill does not die by the president referring
it back. It doesn't die.
It
has
doesn't
not
die.
died.
That's the language in Article 115.
So it's alive and kicking.
It's alive and kicking. And it is actually talking of a process that will again take this bill back to the president.
Let's do what Debal did there.
Am I right there?
You are right.
Yeah. So when we have this critical debate, we have this
Let me make
this interpretation that is causing a lot of anxiety.
Let it make it possible for this discussion to go forward. You are right. You are right. At this point, the law, as the constitution as it is not clear. That is why it is subject to interpretations, and therefore that calls that should actually be now looked at in Parliament. The National Assembly should go back. I can just say, like you said the other time, and you said, will you raise this in the Assembly? No, I did, and I got a report back. I'll say what is possible for me to do after we leave this place is what can we do as opposition to get the National Assembly sitting. And I don't say I have powers to do that, but what can I do? Now, we are here. Now I can't talk about the position and so on. I'm here as Nikal, a member of Parliament, elected by the people. I am in opposition. We have agreed that the National Assembly should be called back. Whatever is possible, I'll actually consult with our side and say we cannot. And it is, even before I came here, it's my worry, because my feeling was that by yesterday, today, we would have notice calling the National Assembly back. The calling the National Assembly back as actually the leader of majority, the leader of minority, or both will actually write to the speaker. If we leave it at that, then I think that is something I must agree. It should be seen that the National Assembly, or at least on our side as opposition, we have made the maximum effort we can, and even go public, that we want the National Assembly sitting to deliberate on this matter. The law is man-made, so you can't expect the people who wrote the Constitution to anticipate everything. It does appear that we didn't, nobody anticipated that you'll have a situation where the president will ask for all the clause to be deleted, because then there will be nothing to refer back. That's where we are. And that lacuna needs action. And I agree with the table sitting here that the National Assembly, particularly now, on the side of the opposition, actually now have a responsibility to do whatever they can and even go public on why the National Assembly is not sitting. That is something I will accept that we must and should do.
You know, when I look at, or maybe a person is rising up this morning and looking at what we have on the front page of the People Daily, that greedy MPs get hefty salaries or salary rise at this particular time. They are on recess when they are needed. Day after President Ruto admitted insensitive state spending and heeded to demands by young Kenyans to scrap offices. House leaders awarded more parks. What will be the reaction? I mean, this is now where people are feeling a bit antagonized, where your services are needed.
You are not available.
And you're not available. And then you are demanding for more hefty salary rises in the parks.
Okay.
Yeah, and this has been on the budget as well.
On this,
that yours is rising and rising and rising.
On this table.
Just imagine. And then we have even the civil servants. We have a bill, I think a bill that is being sponsored by Tandaza, Member of Parliament, that seeks also the civil servants, the public service, that even their pension, you know, we should have the inflation cushioning surrounding their pension. So there will be adjustments for their pension moving forward. And people are wondering, then why should it just be for the selective few? Are they the civil servants alone who are feeling the pinch of inflation in this country? Don't we have the whole citizenry who are in this country feeling the pinch of inflation, that even them, theirs should be considered? When we seek and have such sort of legislations or motions or bills that are being raised, it really shows how navel-gazing you are as legislators on just your own interest and the civil servants, and not just as your constituents or a collective citizenry at the end of the day.
As I say,
so that's what I'm saying. If you looking at this, when your services are needed, how then do you justify that you get hefty salaries to be paid? It cuts both across. Of course, I know Honorable Nyikali is the one who is the National Assembly, so it is getting the hit. But of course, for the senators as well, you are.
Let me start by
both
taking
in
the heat.
the National Assembly.
Taking the heat. Dibal, you are right. On this table, if you are talking of the National Assembly, I'm from the National Assembly, so I cannot escape any feelings on any issues. And the part of the value of these discussions, don't think that after we discuss here, it ends here. You must remember that as we are all here, we actually pick issues, we pick things, and we do raise them when you go back, when we are discussing in Parliament. It actually helps you after you have had this discussion. It improves even how you interact, how you go to Parliament, and so on. And so I accept, nobody can deny that the Parliament, National Assembly, has not lived up to its expectation. So when you say National Assembly, I cannot refuse that. But then we go down and say, what has weakened the National Assembly? If you asked me, in general principle, there's something I've learned, and I don't know whether my colleagues have learned it. I never knew that a supermajority, if in the hands of a leadership that is not caring, will also even kill Parliament. So to that extent, I think the National Assembly cannot escape the feeling that people have. And I do that. And as you have said, right now, where we are, we seem to be in a situation, say, those people in the National Assembly who are on the Kwanzaa side, the people who say, yes, the country is now feeling, they have gone, that is gone. What about those who say no? What are they doing beyond saying no? Again, that you cannot escape to say, yes, we need to do more.
Thank you.
I think that's all we can do.
Let me come to Okongo Mogeni on this issue as well, because Okongo Mogeni, you are...
But let me say, before we do that, the issue of salary rises.
Let
me, I've not said that, but because I actually saw that there is an issue, and if you got the details of that, it actually indicated the level of Parliament where that rise will be. And it was actually...
It's not for everybody.
It's not for...
It is for
so
the...
Now, but that's not the point.
But even looking at the finance bill, there was a hike. I think we've had this discussion here before for the MPs and their salary rises, and where is that question?
It's the leadership, not the MPs.
No, before even this one.
No, what we discussed here was the CDF, which again we argued that it should not be...
No, it was not the CDF. It was not the CDF. Okongo Mogeni, you in the Parliamentary Service Commission. Maybe you can give some perspective on this.
No, I think...
so that we understand what
right.
is what is happening here.
You know, Dibala, unless the president bites the bullet and understands the suffering these young people you are seeing in the streets are going through, he will not solve the challenges that he's facing. What was in the budget for increase of salary was for staff serving in the National Assembly. Mm-hmm. Those young people you see burning midnight oil up to midnight, writing reports, etc. It was not members of Parliament, not senators, not members of National Assembly, because the Commission has got no powers to increase salaries of Nyikal or Mahanzo. That can only be done by SRC. You cannot get any increase, even a shilling, unless you have a gazette from
which you have special umbrage with the SRC.
No. SRC,
because you want it scrapped.
SRC, no. In fact, if you asked me, SRC should be scrapped because we should actually be, our guns should be pointed at the executive, the head of state, not that amorphous body called SRC. Because Dibal, so many taxes have hit Kenyans. You have got the housing levy that came in. That has reduced the earnings of Kenyans. You got NSSF that came in to reduce the salary of Kenyans. There were adjustments on pay as you earn. We were meant to have SHIF, Social Health Insurance Fund, 2.5% coming in. And when you get a presentation from our staff, these poor Kenyans who have taken mortgages, they have car loans and everything, they have nothing. In fact, the stress level, mental issues around the staff serving, I'm sorry to say this, the staff serving around Parliament is that they are not able to manage their financial affairs because of these taxes. And I'm sure if you did a survey even in Standard, the police force, everywhere, it's the same thing. So the PSC has not made any decision to increase salary of any sitting member of Parliament. We don't have that powers, and we have not done any increment.
I wanted you to shed light on this.
Which one?
So this you say who are set to receive the increment. Why this, the speaker? All these faces
here.
You know
what SRC does, and they do it independent on their own, and these even include salaries of Chief Justice, Attorney General, judges, all these guys, chairman of commissions. They do what I don't know how they do it because it's an independent commission. You don't know what informed they say they do annual salary survey. I don't know that they do public participation. They have even increased salaries as we speak for members of county assembly. But the big man syndrome will tell you, the bar, that anytime you see these increases, there is the hand of the head of state. Remember, MCAs were in State House. Is it 4 months ago?
Yeah.
And the president assured them that I'm going to ensure that your salary rises. And their salary, if you read this Gazette notice now, that has just been published, their salary has gone up from 148 to 164,000 per month. Because of what Kenyans are referring to as the double speak of the president. When he had a press conference the other day, he said, I will ensure there is a reduced wage bill in the country. But on the other hand, he meets SRC because he wants to play populism. He tells SRC, go and gazette increase of salary for members of county assemblies. It all boils down to what the Gen Zs are raising. Issue of governance. Issue of governance. You cannot be a person who, when a bill goes to Parliament, we want to debate the housing bill, the president tells the majority leader, I want that thing passed within 2 days. Members of county assemblies or leadership or commissions want salaries, you must go to the president, beg, the president directs, increase this. It's issue of governance. If SRC was left to play its role without being bulldozed by the executive, maybe they will do a good job, I don't know. The Kenyans can judge on themselves. But this idea of everything rotating around the presidency is a big challenge. And that is the issue that President William Ruto needs to fix. You know, you put something there about the bare minimum from these Gen Zs. They're telling you what is a priority for them now is to absorb their 1,000 medical interns. The guys who have been treating them at Holy Family Basilica, there, who are jobless and who are very key players in these demonstrations. They want to see the JSCs, junior secondary school teachers, employed, because these are their colleagues who have finished school, but they are out there. They are telling you that they want a trim cabinet. Okay? Now, if I was President Ruto, what does Article 152 say, Jekal? It says, the article is, if you read it for us, it says, our cabinet will have a minimum of how many CSs? 14, and a maximum of 22. So instead of telling the country on a broadcast, live broadcast, that you are going to borrow 1 trillion, you should tell the country that I'm going to invoke Article 152 and reduce my cabinet to 14. There are ministries you can merge, Dibal.
Right.
And the money you save from from that reduction of ministries can employ these teachers, the JSS.
All right,
you can employ the intern doctors, 1,000 of them. Tell the country today that you have reduced the number of principal secretaries from 51 to 14.
There are so many.
That is massive saving.
Necessary.
That is massive saving. And I mean, everybody will see that the president is serious. Why are you having a ministry with 3 PSs? And when you look around, you will find these are members of parliament who have been rejected by Kenyans at the ballot.
Right.
And that's what hikes Kenyans. You come, you want us to elect you, we reject you.
Okay.
The next time, you are the one running a